Yeah, Lewis. Obviously, this Auburn game is going to be big. Two top 10 teams. You're obviously a Florida guy. Where does where does the Georgia Auburn rivalry sit in your? Have you been around long enough to sort of appreciate the olden tradition of this rivalry?
I wouldn't say I was here long enough, but from the older guys, I'm kind of getting the sense that this is very important to them, and I'm taking that on myself, to appreciate. There's a lot of tradition behind these games, a lot of emotion, a lot behind Georgia and Auburn game. So that's something I'm respecting. This is like my first really classical game that I'm starting in, and I'm
Anthony Dasher.
Lewis, I was just kind of wondering, what's it like for you to, I guess, kind of to play under the learning tree that I guess you want to call it, a Richard LeCounte, kind of what he does and how he helps you out?
I take a lot from Richard. For one, Richard plays with a lot of emotion. He plays with a lot of swag. And one thing I take about Richard, he has some knowledge to him, and he plays fast. And I try to soak in as much as I can.
Mike Griffith, do you have a question?
I do. Lewis, could you tell us how much weight you gained in the off season? You look a lot bigger, and also just how much more physical do you feel like you're playing? Your run support was very impressive in that last game.
For one, I gotta give credit to the strengths coach, and then the nutritionist. I think I gained 15 pounds. 15 pounds from eating right, lifting right. And, yeah, I give credit to them.
Ryan Dennis?
Hey, Lewis. I know that Georgia football teased black jerseys. Can you give us any insight if that's coming this week?
Oh, man, I know as very little as you do, honestly.
Jake Rowe, do you have a question?
Yeah, Lewis, Kirby just told us that JT Daniels will be cleared. Obviously, he's got to win the job, but you have probably had some good reps against him during preseason camp. Can you just kind of talk about what he brings to the table and what it was like kind of facing a quarterback like him?
JT's a very great player. He brings a lot of great things to the table, and it's awesome going against him in practice because, he makes me better and I make him better. But I feel like every quarterback brings something different to the table.
Dean Legge, do you have a question?
I want to ask you a question about special teams. It did seem like y'all did pretty well, generally speaking, on special teams on against Arkansas. Kirby has some critiques. Is it consistently that way with him? Does it seem like when y'all do pretty well, he always has things to clean up?
For one, there's always things to clean up in special teams, on defense, regardless what it is. But over here, we take a lot of pride in special teams. Special teams is very important. Regardless if you're a defensive player, offensive player, you're going to do special teams. And that's something I personally enjoy.
We'll go to Connor Riley.
Hey, Lewis, you and George Pickens came in sort of the same recruiting class. Have you noticed anything different about the way he's practiced and prepared this year?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry, you kind of cut off.
Have you noticed any difference between, the way George has practiced and prepared this year compared to last year?
George is always prepared really kind of the same. I mean, he's very business about the way he prepares. And, George is George. That's all I have to say.
We'll go to Blaine Gilmer.
Lewis, a lot of teams use tempo nowadays, but Auburn is a little bit different in the amount of formations and motions that they add also, as well as tempo. How problematic is that on top of the tempo with Auburn?
Tempo, I feel like the last team we played, Arkansas, used tempo, but a lot of fast tempo. But, we get ready for that in the practices, and, so we'll be prepared for the fast tempo and everything they have coming up.
We have a couple more minutes. We'll go ahead and open it up for anyone who would like to jump in and ask a question.
Hey, Lewis. When reviewing and prepping for the Auburn game this week, obviously, what has stuck out to you about Bo Nix and kind of his skill set and maybe where he's improved from last season?
I know Bo Nix personally from playing with him from UA. I think he's a very great player. He brings a lot to their offense. He's fast. He's athletic. Has a good arm. And I don't. It's not in me to say of where he improves or where he hasn't improved. But all I can say is I'm really looking forward to playing against him.
Lewis, can you talk about how important that Sugar Bowl was for you, getting that start and that experience as it goes into the season?
It was very, very important. For one, I feel like I got the experience under my belt being the first official game that I started. You know, it was fast, but, you know, I got to feel how, you know, being a starter is like, being in a big time game is like. So now, you know, I'm kind of more settled now.
And just to follow up, what was the mood in the huddle after you guys gave up a 91-yard drive? I know this defense has high goals.
We just try to focus from play to play, you know. Okay, that's the past. Let's focus on what's next.
One more question. Anyone?
Lewis, how different was it playing defense and communicating in a stadium that only had 20,000 people in it compared to what you're usually used to, which is a raucous crowd?
It's no different in reality because when the game starts, you just focus on your keys and focus on your assignment and the guys you're playing with. So you don't really allow the outside the outside to really influence you.
All right, Lewis, thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thanks.